today, citizen-centric digital transformation enhancing public service delivery. And I'm pleased to introduce our moderator for this session, Mr. Amitabh, Chief Executive Officer of Digital India Bhashini Division at the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Joining Mr. Nag on the panel are Ashok Kumar Sharma, JKAS Director, Directorate of School Education UT of Jammu and Kashmir. Please, can we welcome every panelist with a huge round of applause. Mr. Sanjeev Banzal, Director General, Education and Research Network, Government of India. Ms. Revati Kumar, Chief Executive Officer and Executive Director, Goa Electronics Limited. And in between, we will also be joining by Mr. Anshul Gupta, IS Director, Public Relations, Government of Madhya Pradesh. He is on his way.
Thank you. Just to kickstart the discussion. Citizen services have been there for a very long time, and actually, it's government's job to have, service the citizens. There has to be a citizen services delivery. But, over a period of time, our population have increased, government has been of the same size, as well as there has been a lot of enhancements and a lot of activities which government has to do with respect to services. So, it has been difficult for any government to actually do citizen services. And digital transformation was one of the levers by which the citizen services could have been improved. And improved to an extent where, information is available and information becomes the king, and information can trigger off action, which was basically done. And there are a lot of other things with respect to the data being available. Data leads to policy, data-driven policy making, etc. as well. So as a first question, if I basically take from, all of you, and perhaps I would start from Revati, means how difficult, means 2 points. One is, of course, what are your views, how things are changing as far as digital transformation affecting or being a lever to citizen service delivery, that's one. And does size of state matter with respect to technology being part of citizen services delivery or being a lever of citizen services delivery, specifically when it comes to size of state?
Good afternoon, everyone. Dignitaries on the days, fellow colleagues here, friends. And start off, thanks to iLaunch Media, Fahim ji and Raman ji for getting all of us here, literally to the heart of the country, and organizing such a beautiful event. Amitabh ji, to your question, yes, transformation hugely, I would say, a lot has changed. To put it rightly, it has gone from a reactive to in between a proactive, and now with AI coming into picture, it is becoming predictive. And it is fascinating to see that how the government is responding to these changes in technologies. In a state like Goa, from where I come, our pillars are mining and tourism. And one very interesting use case that we have implemented in Goa, which which fascinates quite some of them, is the complete data analytics. We call it the TIME, that is Tourism Information Management Enterprise. What this platform does is, from various sources, it sources out the tourists coming into the state, and it analyzes the basis of age, the gender, the state, the country of origin, the number of days the guest stays, and what are his preferences. So what has happened now here is, in Goa, we have moved from a kind of, buffet to an a la carte. Now we know what the tourist wants when he comes in to the state. Some very interesting findings, the tourist who comes in from the UK stays for a longer period rather than the guys coming from US. The time period is 7 to 8 days on an average for a UK tourist compared to, 14 days for a UK tourist compared to 7 to 8 days from US. Isn't it? Shouldn't it have been the other way around? That was what we were thinking when we were making our policies, our different music fests and all of this. So now we know what to plan. Now we know where to plan. We know that the youth are pulled by the music fest. So we know where we have to build in infrastructure. As a very small state, as you rightly pointed out, we are like a district of another state, Goa, even in terms of its population. But we make a good, I would say, playground for all the innovations and we fuel innovation on the beaches of Goa. Let me be. So this was a big help to the complete government to plan accordingly. Where should we have the music fest happening? In which period should we be having this fest happening? So we now know what to serve the tourist in a better manner. This was one part of the whole system. Now once we knew what infrastructure is needed, what is needed by the tourist, where is the money going to come from for this? This is a basic question we all have, and it's in the government, that is the first question. Yes, we know, and the outcomes are good, that we are knowing that we need to have these kind of facilities, and these are the preferences of the tourist, but how do we really cater to it? Where is the money? So now comes in another big project, which is again fascinating. We call it DAC, that is the Data Analytics Center in Goa. Now what this does is, it is mining in the complete income and the expenditure side of the government. And how are we able to generate money out of this now? I'll give a classic example. What we did in the tourism sector is, as I said, the time is taking the tourism sector in a more promoter's role. That is the government in the more promoter's role. And when we sit in the regulator's chair now, through the DAC, we are trying to bring in money for these projects where we need to act as a promoter. So from where will the money come? That is, as I said, the DAC. What happens in a DAC is, we have all the stakeholders of the tourism sector registered in the state. So that is your shack owners, your water sports operators, many such of these bar owners and all of these. This data analytics platform in the background mined across several other 40 other departmental data sets, 200 odd data sets, and some fascinating outputs. We found many of them who are running businesses in the tourism sector and who have an LTD connection. Now if you all understand, in electricity, LTD means a low tension domestic connection, which is not possible. So we found out that there was a discrepancy here. We compared it with excise. There are bar licenses which are not registered with the tourism. Then we went on and we compared with the OTA platforms, the Make My Trips and the guys. There are many who are having homestays there, but not registered with the Department of Tourism. Very happy to tell you that when we started this, it was at around 3,800 hotels and homestays in Goa. Today we stand at a 6,800 count. So that is almost double. And this was all done through data analytics and finding where are the leakages and the loopholes. So yes, there is a huge transformation. So basis citizen for the tourism sector, as I said, it is serving the tourist. And these are ways where we have come forth. If you talk about the size, as I said, we are not a Maharashtra or a Karnataka or a MP because we don't have those kind of land and available space. So we don't look to be the next IT hub or stuff. But yes, as the IT minister of our state always says, it was sun, sand and sea, and now it's software on the sea by the beaches. So what Goa is promoting is digital nomads, where we are building infrastructure on the beaches, where creative minds can come, develop and build solutions which can transform many things in the government sector.
Thank you. Thank you. I think, the key takeaway which is basically there is, we are moving from reactive to proactive to predictive, a clear transformation, and this is actually fueled by digitizing the complete set of data which is about the citizens and about the activities which they perform, and using that to make the policies. So, the entire value chain is actually done. The second is about meeting demand and supply. You always want to, there are tourism coming and they are making that kind of a thing. And often it was a complaint that in government the left hand does not know what the right hand is doing. So here there is actually, when you are creating this kind of infrastructure where data is available, you are actually making things well available. Now coming to you, sir, this is, public service delivery in education is primarily targeting students, parents and teachers. And a lot of transformation has happened. And, you'd like to hear and have some knowledge about what your state is doing. And in general, what can be and what could be the vision which can be there.
Very good afternoon, all of you. Thank you. As far as UT of Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, we were having only 40 to 50 online delivery services prior to 2019. And it's a proud moment for us to say that at present we are providing 1,164 online services to the citizens of the UT of Jammu and Kashmir. So this is a real transformation, and face-to-face contact has been avoided, and it has resulted into the transparency. I will quote few examples. The government of Jammu and Kashmir, after it was changed into UT, had to issue domicile certificates. And on daily basis, lakhs of domicile certificates were issued by the competent authorities on an online mode. And again, moving a step forward towards the transparency. But what we have done, we have one Public Service Guarantee Act, where we guarantee the public service to the citizens, and timelines have been fixed for a particular service. That has been linked with the online services, and there is a provision of auto appeal and penalties which are taken by the superior officers. So we are moving fastly towards the transparency. Coming to the specific question as far as education is concerned, we were having so many challenges because of the topography of the UT, vast area and scattered schools in the whole UT. The government is catering approximately more than 18,000 schools in the UT, and it was very tough to maintain the attendance of the staff as well as the students. Now what we did, we introduced one face recognition application in the form of JKAS app attendance. The latitudes and longitudes of the schools have already been registered, and a teacher can mark his attendance by face recognition within the school premises only, and if he leaves the school premises, it is reported to the reported by the app. So By that way, we are able to maintain the attendance of the students. Similar thing we are going to now, we will, in the coming future, we will introduce to the students as well. And we have established one VSK, Vidya Samiksha Kendra. And everything is being connected to that Vidya Samiksha Kendra, which will be inaugurated very shortly. That's completely in all respects. We have back-end work has been done. Just because our Model Code of Conduct could not be inaugurated. So, everything will be available to the citizen on that Vidya Samiksha Kendra at one nodal point. If a person wants to see the attendance of a particular school and a class of a particular school, he can monitor on that BSK. So this is the real transformation. Even the contents are being generated, they will be uploaded on VSK. The teachers can enhance their skills by that VSK. So in education sector, we are likely to bring a revolution by these changes, and definitely transparency is the major part where everybody has been made accountable. The field visits of the senior officers have been made mandatory, and they will be uploading the condition of that institution, their punctuality, their performance, then and there through an app, and that will be reflected in BSK. Thank you.
Great. So, we have yet another dimension added to it when we are talking about this. What Revati talked about, reactive, proactive, predictive, meeting demand and supply, making making a connected government so that left hand knows what right hand is doing. What he brought about is something very specific with respect to transparency, that all the things have to be transparent and social audit. One thing which he talked about increasing the or augmenting the skills of teachers. Using application is another part of it, which is a very important aspect of what we try to deliver to the citizens. We are also trying to deliver knowledge to the citizens, knowledge to teachers, knowledge to other societies, so that they can continually upgrade the skills and be there at that point in time. Coming to DG, you have been seeing a lot of IT systems all around, and the citizen-centric service delivery is, when it gets into digital transformation, 2 or 3 things actually happen. One is how user-friendly is UI, UX, and going by what I do, I would say that make it voice-enabled, make it multilingual, but that apart, there is a UI, UX thing which happens. The second part of the thing is there is a digital divide, and how does it impact citizen service delivery for those who are on the other side of the divide, and then the have-nots. And the third part of it is that even the literacy divide actually hampers the service delivery. So given that you have a very wide range of systems for it, your comments on these aspects would help us.
Thank you, Amitabh ji, and good known to all of you, and thanks for fellow colleagues and organizers for this wonderful event. As far as digital transformation, and particularly in the education sector is concerned, as you all know that in July 2015, as MIT, we started a journey called Digital India with the aim to have the digitally empowered society and knowledge economy for our country. And under that, there were 3 pillar areas. One was to develop the core infrastructure, IT infrastructure across the country, and then citizen services on demand, and third one is to empower our citizens with the knowledge economy. So with this aim and objective and vision, when we started, the core infrastructure which has been developed across the country and the applications and services have been developed, it is for everybody to see, whether we see our Aadhaar, whether we see our UPI, whether we see our DigiLocker, during the COVID time, our COVID app, and GSTN and e-GEM, government marketplace. Similarly, in the education sector also many development have taken place in the digital transformation of it. As the Prime Minister has already said that we should emphasize for having the hybrid mode of education, so that by any means, in case there is a kind of pandemic type of disruption or kind of law and order etc., if schools are affected, then students' teaching should not be affected. With that, keeping that aim in mind, we had transformed several schools and education institutes in terms of digital infrastructure, digital connectivity, Wi-Fi campuses, and we have gone to the remote areas, particularly say remote areas like Lakshadweep group of islands or Andaman Nicobar, Arunachal Pradesh. We have got our own satellite of station at Bangalore, wherein through that we have connected several education institutes in remote and inaccessible areas. As far as schools are concerned, Urban India for the digital transformation, we have gone to the Conclave model residential schools, which are schools which are in the remote or those areas where more than 50% of the block population is tribal in nature. And wherever we have done the digital transformation in terms of digital infrastructure, digital connectivity, we have seen the perceptible change in the students' learning, because they are now able to, they are able to connect with the world. They are connected to the internet. They use the digital world for their own benefit. I have visited a number of schools, particularly in rural areas, including near Bhopal, also Kesla, where not only students are very well versed with the digital technologies and they understand how to use it and for their own benefit, but teachers are also benefited. I was surprised to see when music teachers said me that we are able to tell how notes are, music notes to the music for those students who are interested in music. Or sports teacher is able to utilize the sports technology using the digital thing to teach that how to run faster or how to throw javelin at a particular angle so that it goes that distance. That kind of surprise changes which we have found when we transform in the education sector. As far as the size is concerned, actually it's a long road to go, because we have got about 15 lakh education institute in the country, and close to 33% are practically digitally connected. And so our pie is very big to connect in the future. Second thing which we have experienced is when we connect the student schools or education institutes with a networking mode, then we are able to address a very big problem of the country. One is in remote or inaccessible areas where teachers they do not go. Or those areas are not having good quality. When you connect these education institute on the networking mode, from the one place, one good teacher can take classes for several schools. Like in Himachal Pradesh, we have connected almost 270 schools on networking. And so that from one place they are able to teach several students in several schools. Similarly, at the medical college level also, we have connected 50 number of medical colleges, including 6 AIMS, 3 PGIs, and several big medical colleges like one we have in Bhopal also, wherein one good, say, cardiology professor is able to impart his knowledge to all 50 colleges, even in remote areas like Guwahati or Shillong, those kind of things. So what I want to say in a nutshell, that digital transformation, particularly education sector, is very, very important and very much required. And it is one area where we uplift not only our own generation but our generation next.
Thank you. I think, learnings from there comes across that we need to establish an infrastructure if we have to have digital transformation for public service delivery. And I think Aaron has been doing quite a large bit of it with this. Second important thing is that the discovery of knowledge, which is hitherto there in somewhere in the system, if we start having digital transformation, that comes through. And the third is about collaboration. If you network things, collaboration would happen. So, just to go through the points which we got on earlier, you know, we moved from reactive to proactive to predictive. We actually ensured that demand meets supply. We are looking at connected government. We are looking at how do we actually bring transparency, how do we augment skills, and how do we actually increase the infrastructure to ensure that there is digital transformation happens, there is collaboration and networking which happens, and there is discovery of knowledge which will lead to further, you know, betterment of the society, and in general the service delivery which happens for this. Now, Revati, coming to this particular aspect when we are talking about all of us, and one important aspect remains infrastructure, and the digital divide and literacy divide. So, are we again using this particular aspect, you know, creating a inequality in the society between have and have-nots, right? Which is somebody who has a digital knowledge, somebody who is literate, somebody who has infrastructure, can do much more than, or can avail a better public service than anyone else. Is that also happening? It's going on the other side of the line and trying to ask a question which, you know, playing a devil's advocate here.
I think we as a country thought about this some time ago, because when the SSDG, the State Service Delivery Gateway, which came across with, as you know, Sir said, that 100,000 odd services have come on a single platform. Similarly, in Goa, we have the Goa Online, which has all the services of the government on a single portal. So this was for those who are tech savvy, as you rightly said. So then the government of India came up with the CSCs. Now this is to facilitate those who are not very tech savvy. So you have these kendras coming up, and they call them the village level entrepreneurs. So village level youths have taken up this work of feeding in the data and helping and assisting and trying to somehow, kind of fill in that gap between the literate, IT literate, I'll say, and non. One step further, State of Goa has come up with something known as Gramin Mitra. Now in this case, it is not for the illiterate or the non-tech savvy. This is for the urban guys mainly, who are very busy and who don't have the time to go online. Again, another divide. Who don't have the time to go online and feed in the information, but they want to take some services of the government. Now here you have a Gramin Mitra who visits your home as per your convenient time, takes your information, feeds it there, and then processes and brings back the certificate to you. Language, I feel, in our country is a huge thing which needs to be dealt, and very rightly Bhashini and these kind of attempts and organizations will be hugely contributing to do away with those divides that we have. But as far as IT is concerned, I think we are already on a journey.
Thank you. I think, the important point which you had made out here is that means assisted, use of digital technologies so that the systems can still work. The important aspect to know here is that if we don't use IT and remain where we are, then we will not be able to do rest of the activities which perhaps the panel was discussing. From a connected government, making meet the supply, making the predictive governance, etc., etc. But so, looking at your state and the way it has grown in digital aspects, how do you feel? What should be the next few steps to actually enhance the citizen services delivery? Given your experience, that what should be the 2 steps if you were to take, you would take in next 1 year or 2 years?
Coming to the further steps, we need to, as I earlier said, that we have Integrated Public Service Guarantee Act and awareness among the illiterates. That's right step we already discussed. In our UT, we have also Khidmat centers, CSCs. There are some literate people and awareness programs launched by the government and even by the school education department in the morning assemblies. So we are actually awareing the people in the schools, and you know that the children learn very fastly and they also make the others to learn. So that is the next step which we will be doing in the next 6 months, and further progressing how we can fast track these services.
Great. That is one more aspect which was brought in, that what we do in a governance setup, often it doesn't reach citizens and they do not know how to avail those schemes and good work which government is doing and how they to work upon. So, the same question to you, that if, you were to tell or define a few things which should be the next step in India's public service delivery, what should it be? What should it actually be taking across? Awareness is definitely one of that.
Actually, the thing is this, when we want to impart education, what actually we want to develop in our students or student community is that they should be able to face the life's challenges and they should develop the problem-solving approach. So for that, it is very important that our concepts which are taught in the classrooms are understood well. And there, actually, it is very important. Once a teacher, he teaches a class, there are say 40-50 students in the class, they understand the thing based on their own understanding, their own background. But when we use the technology and we are able to demonstrate a particular model, say for example, if we are art is demonstrated using 5G technology in 3D kind of thing, he is able to see that where are the walls of art, how it will look like, what are the veins and those kind of things. So understanding concepts become very, very easy. So once he or she understands the concept correctly, then answering the questions in terms of quiz or in the examinations become very easy. And once those things are, so these are imparted actually inside the mind of the student. So going forward, if we use the AI technologies or immersive technologies like augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality nowadays is coming, it is very easy for teaching the concepts to the students. And MOOC courses, that is online courses which are now available, and even in the latest NEP, National Education Policy 2020, it has been said that 40% of your credit you can take from the online courses as well. So, and those online courses contents are prepared by various institutes and by very good teachers and professors. So you are able to impart the good quality of teaching. You are able to tell the student what are the basic concepts in terms of when they are taught to AR/VR or MR kind of technologies, which we are actually giving many headsets, VR or AR headsets, etc. in various schools, particularly in rural areas, so that they understand the concept of how photosynthesis works, how oxygen is getting released, carbon dioxide getting from sunlight, etc. So those kind of things. So going forward for future, we have to see that our students are well prepared in terms of understanding concepts and in terms of problem solving. Thank you.
So, one important aspect of what he has brought out is that, proof of the pudding is in eating, and you have to actually change the paradigm of what you talk. Means the say-do ratio has to increase. That means you need to actually show the people what they can achieve, and what they can learn. And education is one such domain where this can be taken across. Revati, the same question to you. We talked about from you starting, and this will be a last question because of the time constraint. We went through the complete cycle of the governance, then the question of transparency, then the question of course, how do we actually make collaboration happen, make infrastructure work? What should be one or two things which we should be doing to, improve the citizen service delivery by leaps and bounds. That's.
I think with the introduction of technologies like AI, we, at the basics, we all in the government, I think, need to sit back and think that many a times we confuse progress with maturity. Way back, we also are on the same thing, like, getting services to the citizen is the basic. We all have to do it. But maturity comes when you really do away with governance as much as possible. So if you have 100 services, can you bring it down to 50 and still run the system? In those 100 services, can you bring down the number of NOCs and the documents required and all of such kind of touch points with the government? More so, instead of concentrating on the process, I'll say the processes only, what the data is trying to tell us. Read through and understand, and the feedback from the citizens has to be taken very critically. And we have ample ways of doing that now. We have these social media where we can read comments, we can read the sentiments of the citizens and act accordingly. So one thing what we need to look at is not say that progress is maturity. This is one area. Another area I think which we all need to work with is that collaborative effort. We can't do it alone. We can't do it only with the government sectors. And I think one of the presentations also he said, we got one of the big guys on board and we could not really deliver much. The thing is, in a collaborative effort, it is not only technology, it is not only governance. And today's technology is, I wouldn't say complicated, but yes, there are many repercussions with the legality, the data protection, and they both are, it's a cat and mouse kind of a game. It's trying to catch up every time. The legal aspects try to catch up with the technology again jumps some other fence. So this has to be taken care of. So you require legal experts, cross-functional teams operating when you are introducing these technologies like AI and ML in your government sector. So these two learnings, I think, have to go a long way.
Yeah, thank you. And I think, the crux of the thing which you brought around was about the process, maturity, and the number of services, etc. As a last word, I would like to say that if, the day should be there when you basically are able to, for example, get a passport on a click of a button, because you have the identity data, you have the CCDNS data. I don't think, and you have the address data, everything with you. Why should actually I be asked, and then you have face recognition which you are trusting now. So why should I be actually going anywhere? And I think the issues of security, the issues of data, etc., if it is sorted out, that would be one of the things. And of course, language and voice, can I basically integrate those into our system? I think we will go leaps and bounds on this. The last thing which is required and which should be taken across is that we are so many citizens and there are so many feedbacks. How do we actually get the feedbacks into the system and act upon actionable feedbacks? This is an area which actually will improve the governance system quite well, because if every citizen is heard and his concerns are addressed, I think we will have a fulfilled society. Thank you very much for joining us.